Where have you been, bro? Bro, it's going up, bro. Look, I ran attacked. Bitcoin's pumping, bro. I just market bought, bro. Oh no, it's dumping, bro. I know there's a lot of you that are wondering where I've been the past couple of weeks now. The truth is, guys, during the holidays, New Year's, Christmas, I'm usually gone, and I'm usually with family. I'm usually traveling on vacation. I just got back from Florida. So I apologize if I haven't been as active. The truth is, I would like to be, but simply my schedule just does not call for it. But since we are back now, I promise you guys that I will be uploading a lot more frequently, and that's, we're going to be getting back to our routine, our schedule. Okay, so let's just get into it. Okay. But if we do end up actually getting back down here, I think that will allow us to accumulate for us for Bitcoin to actually end up breaking towards the top side. So as you guys can see, since our last video, we were talking about how Bitcoin was going to retrace towards the downside. And I mean, this was when Bitcoin was still back at roughly, all right, this was when Bitcoin was still roughly back over here at around $7,100. And I mean, it's fair to say that since then, there's been a lot of crazy price action. I mean, Bitcoin did end up attempting a breakout towards $7,700, which actually I was able to capture a little bit of it, from around 7,200 upwards towards close to around 7,500 or so. So yeah, it wasn't a bad deal, but we were still looking for that pullback down towards that 6,800 range. And the reason I was so adamant about that 6,800 range is because really, first of all, this was a very strong resistance at around $7,100. All right. And as you can see, it's almost kind of playing as support right now. But for us to break out of that, we had to retrace back down towards these lows. And, as you can even see, it formed what's known as an inverse head and shoulders. All right. I'll probably post a little bit of screenshot right here. And as you guys can see, this is what I was looking for the past couple of weeks. I mean, this is what I was eyeing for. I would have definitely let you guys know, but again, I've been on vacation, I've been traveling, but now we're back. Of course, though, since our inverse head and shoulders, we did get a very nice pump. I mean, we practically pumped over 20%, which is crazy. All right. And for me, that is a very good sign. That means that we retrace back towards its top channel. But the question remains, what's going to happen now? All right. So again, from here on out, this is my personal opinion. This is not financial advice. So let's get into it. So first of all, let's look at the daily timeframes, and we have to draw what's known as our trend lines. All right. As always, I always talk about this trend lines. All right. So I mean, you can draw these trend lines in so many different ways at this point. It's almost, it's almost like an opinion, right, as to how you want to draw your trend lines. But I mean, more or less, you can still when you draw the trend lines from its peak, from its previous higher low, and from the current higher low, you guys can still see we're in a higher low. That means that Bitcoin is still not bullish, but we did end up retracing back up towards that 8,200 range, right? At its peak, it was at around 8,400. But this is something that we've been talking about for a long time. So when we draw our bottom trend line now, I think that this is going to have a pretty big influence. The reason I say this is because now that Bitcoin has retraced up towards that top trend line at around close to around 8,200 to 8,400, I do believe that it is very likely, and again, based on how Bitcoin reacts here, right? Because we could very well consolidate and then end up breaking out, right? That's a possibility. But as I currently see it, we could also just consolidate and then end up seeing some lower lows. And honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if Bitcoin were to retrace down towards that 5,500 range. All right. And that's something I've been talking about for quite some time. All right. The reason I bring up $5,500, all right, is if we pull up our EMAs, okay, and we look at the weekly channel, you you can see it lines up pretty well with the 200 exponential moving average here on the weekly. So the reason that this EMA has a lot of influence is because if you look back at when it was at 3,100, notice every single time that Bitcoin would reject, it would be right off that 200 exponential moving average. So in my personal opinion, it could very well retrace back down towards that support. And then we end up seeing a huge bounce. And then we finally end up breaking out, perhaps consolidating at around, again, 82, 8,500 range. And then, we start making some higher highs at that point. For me, ultimately, I do believe that 5,500 would be the ultimate bottom if we were to ever retrace back down towards those lows. But again, that's all based on what Bitcoin currently does. If it fails to do so, to get down towards those lows, then, very well, 7K or 6K range could be the bottom. So, but that is my current outlook on a macro scale. I do believe that Bitcoin will end up either retracing back down towards, again, 67 for either a double bottom and we end up pushing upwards, or we end up pushing down towards that, again, that bottom channel towards that 57, 5,500 range, which I don't think would be out of the picture. Okay. And the reason I say that is because, again, even though we've managed to accumulate various times here, right? If we look at the 3 times that Bitcoin was accumulated, which was back over here around 65, 6,400 range. I mean, we did have what's known as an inverse head and shoulders, but yet we still failed to break above that 200 exponential moving average on the daily. That's scary signs to me. All right. And so for me, it just lets me know that there's just still not enough buyers. We really need to see a huge push in price action, right? Where we end up pushing down towards those lows. Again, not that low, like that low. Okay. 5,700, 5,500 range. And I think that would allow us to really see some huge volumes and, we go to the moon, right? We make some higher highs. We rock it. We're Satoshi Nakamoto. That. Okay. I don't even know what I'm saying at this point, but yeah, so that's basically my outlook. It's that simple. I was able to capture pretty good price action. I was able to get in roughly around that 69.50 range, around this general vicinity. Okay. And I was able to profit. I did sell it at around 80. It was too low. It was around 80 and 90. I wish I would have sold around up here, but it is what it is. And so for now, for me, as I currently see it, I do believe that Bitcoin will probably end up seeing on a micro scale. I do believe that we could end up seeing a retest towards the upside, maybe around 8,200 or so, before we end up pushing towards the downside. I mean, the reason I say that is because, again, Bitcoin, when it comes to price action, it's always about retests. Retest, retest, and retest. And currently, as we see it, from the past time, you can see that we end up retesting this almost 3 times before we end up making some lower lows. So I do think it's very possible that we could end up seeing a huge bounce in price action for a retest. But again, guys, do not be alarmed because of that retest, because that could very well mean that we're still going to end up rejecting it. And again, we still have that possibility of making lower lows. All right. So that is my current outlook. And again, I apologize for being gone for so long, but guys, give me a break. All right. I was on vacation. It's important, you got to take a break here and there, whatever. And let me know in the comment section, what do you guys think? Do you guys agree or disagree with my analysis? Okay. Anyways, before we end it here, be sure to go check out my Facebook group. I will leave it in the link in the description below. I promise this year I want to be really, really active in the community around with you guys. So be sure to check it out. It is the Cryptocurrency Traders Group, specifically for people that are interested in trading crypto. Because for me, that's more important than fundamental analysis or whatnot. That's why I don't really cover fundamentals in this channel, because honestly, it doesn't really play an influence. I think it's BS. But if you want to check that out, link's going to be in the description below. All right. And with that being said, I will see you on the next one. Oh, you're still here? Hey. No, don't mind me. I'm just chilling. What are you doing? Cool story, bro. Okay.